here it is. You found us. Break the Chains news and info, where we break the chains of conformity, break the chains of normalcy, and most of all, break the chains of the mainstream media lies and propaganda. I am your host, Corey Blair, riding the airwaves, and with me always is Scratch.
How's everybody doing?
You know what? We're having a great time here, and it's going to be exciting here in a couple weeks. August 21st, 2017 is a very important day for basically the whole continental U.S. If you got a car, if you can make a way through it. I mean, the Great Solar Eclipse is happening August 21st, 2017. It's going to be a really awesome time. I think the last time there was a solar eclipse at any rate, I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was in my backyard, and it was like a partial solar eclipse where you had to stand with your back to the sun and look through a
or
thing.
make the pinhole
Exactly.
viewer or anything like that.
And it was cool, but I was like, oh, I'm looking into a box. It's whatever. But this one is actually supposed to be a total solar eclipse. It's going to span over 11 states, starting from the west coast of Oregon all the way through down to South Carolina. We got 11 states in, I think it's like an 80-mile span, and you should be able to see a totality. It should last 2 minutes on the West Coast, and at its peak, it's going to end at its peak, it's going to be 2 minutes and 41 seconds in Carbondale, Illinois, and then it's going to make its way out of our great nation in South Carolina, down here at Columbia, South Carolina. It's going to last 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so about two and a half minutes of totality. So it's kind of a really cool thing, a really, really rare occurrence. I can't really remember the last time we've been able to witness this. It's usually happened over the oceans or other parts of the country, or not country, but other parts of the
world.
World.
Yeah.
Universe, world, planet, galaxies.
Yeah.
All those things, right?
Yeah.
No, but it's really awesome because the Middle American cultures, the Mayans, the Aztecs. You can even go as far as like the Aborigines in Africa and Australia. But everybody kind of looked to the solar eclipse as kind of like a cleansing or like a kind of like a restart button, kind of like a new thing. And we're going through some really, really rocky times right now, and it'd be great to kind of start something new.
Well, it would be nice. It would be nice if everybody looked at it as that, hey, let's take this time, let's reflect on what's happened before, and now let's make a new start and use that as a jump off point. And
it makes you feel really small when you think about like big circular discs obstructing the view and light of other big circular discs. I sound like a flat earther calling them discs. Yeah. I am not a flat earther, by the way. We are living on a spherical planet rotating through the galaxy. Okay,
glad you cleared that up.
Yeah, no. But the moon falling in place over the sun is beautiful. It's an amazing thing, and I'm actually making my way. We're in Colorado, but I'm going to make my way. I think the closest point to me is either in Casper, Wyoming, or the Sand Hills of western Nebraska. I'm probably going to shoot for Nebraska because Casper is just a big truck stop. I'm going to bring out my camera. I'm going to take some video. I might be able to take some photos. I'm going to post them on my website, www.breakthechainsart.com. Post them there. Post them on my Twitter. Post them on my Instagram, BTC_art design. You'll be able to follow me and find me on all those eclipse pictures and videos there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen a solar eclipse. I've lived my entire life and never seen one. And
Greg.
Come
on now.
I know.
It's going to be really cool, and I'm excited because it makes you feel. It kind of makes you step back and look at where we are in the galaxy, where we are in our own solar system, how the sun reacts with our planet, how the sun reacts with our satellites or our moons.
But it also shows how little we are and how insignificant we are and how little we actually know about the universe.
Oh yeah, we've basically been doing astronomy. Galileo made his telescope back in 1609. Galileo made the first telescope, really crude. He studied the moons of Jupiter. Very good astronomer, very good scientist all around. But if you're going to go off, I'm going to use that as my pivot point. For roughly 400 years, we've been studying the solar system and how bodies interact with each other and how we orbit around the sun. And I mean, we had that whole time the Copernican theory, and then the heliocentric, and all these different views of how we are laid out as marbles in the galaxy or in the solar system. And it's really interesting now that we have satellites and scientists really delving into it day in and day out and just grinding out numbers and astronomical units and all these kind of numbers that I personally can't throw out.
No. Yeah, I'm not a scientist.
No, but you look like one, Greg. You look like one. No, so we're gonna really enjoy that. It's gonna be a really cool time for the whole entirety of America and the world. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna be really cool pictures that we'll be able to look at. And it goes into a kind of unique time because currently we're going through a little bit of a sun. I don't want to say the sun is sick or the sun is has issues, but the sun we're at a sunspot minimum right now. There was only one sunspot, and it was actually a really big sunspot.
Yeah.
It was about 4 times the size of Earth. And you could detect sunspots by looking. You have to have a special telescope, obviously, because otherwise you'd burn your freaking eyeballs out. But
I can't see.
I can't see. But this sunspot was so massive, and it was able to. It basically traversed the whole plane of the solar plane. But these sunspots actually go right in hand with coronal mass ejections, or CMEs.
I had one of those last night.
Oh yeah.
What the hell is that?
A CME is a coronal mass ejection. It's basically where there is a huge wave of ultraviolet and supercharged particles that are basically ejected from the sun and blasts just violently out at anything that's basically in its path, and it affects the magnetosphere. It affects satellites. It affects transmission signals. It affects a lot of communications. Very similar to what an EMP pulse would do. An EMP pulse is a
absolutely
synthetic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say a synthetic CME, but it has the same outcome.
Okay.
And actually, I was looking it up, and there was a lot of issues. What was July 16th? We had a big CME actually that affected us. Not necessarily the U.S. because we were kind of heading into darkness, heading into nighttime at the point. It was like 5 or 6 o'clock our time.
Right.
But a lot of outages with Comcast satellites, MSNBC, AT&T, internet services and providers, cellular services and providers. They were having a lot of outages, really low connectivity, mainly along the whole eastern seaboard. And if that happened earlier, it hit the west. It hit the whole northern hemisphere on our side. But it ended up more hitting towards Paris and Italy and Greece and Turkey. You also have outages in Australia, and after that, it kind of went away. It only lasted a few hours, but it was extreme. It was intense, and it just goes to show you that no matter how much scientists and no matter how much data is presented and how much knowledge is put out in the ethos of how we go about our day-to-days, we still don't know enough.
No. I think most of us would say that the universe is almost too vast to think about. You just can't quite wrap your head around it. So I think the vast majority of people just don't.
The universe is as to the number infinity.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
We want to know more about it. We want to know where it comes from, where its origins are, but we really can't figure it out. And like I said, with Galileo, we've only been staring up at the sky for 400 plus years, which is a sliver of a minute percentage of time here on Earth.
Correct.
And it's really interesting because there's actually a couple people that were researching some new kind of I don't want to say fringe topics, but it was kind of interesting because we lost planet Pluto.
Oh, God rest its soul.
Yeah, God rest in peace. It is now considered a dwarf planet, which is,
I love Pluto. Fuck them.
Yeah,
Don't take my fucking
Pluto's
planet.
still a planet, guys.
Yeah,
Come
absolutely.
on, right? But the fact of the matter is that these people were doing research on Planet 9, not Pluto. So it's kind of interesting to hear the term Planet 9, but not being associated with Pluto.
Yeah.
This week, two Spanish astronomers announced that they were analyzing orbits of special class of extreme trans-Neptunian objects, which is also known as ETNOs. These small objects basically orbit outside of the ring of Neptune and the orbit of Neptune. But these Spanish scientists were basically finding that there was something perturbing, and perturbing means basically...
Thank you. I was about to ask, what the hell is that mean?
Perturbing sounds like some sort of foreplay.
I'm perturbing.
Yeah, I'm all kinds of perturbing. Perturbing the orbits of these small bodies in the outer solar system. These guys were floating around, and basically, if you can imagine like an ellipse or an egg-shaped orbit, these small ETNOs were being perturbed to the point where these scientists are basically saying, well, something's making them shift their orbit.
So it's an anomaly. So basically, something's flying through the air and it gets pulled into something unexplainable.
Exactly.
Okay.
So basically, similar to the comets that orbit through and around Jupiter.
Correct.
Jupiter's basically like a big bouncer for our solar system, especially the interplanetary solar, or excuse me, inner planets of our solar system.
Correct.
Jupiter is so massive that smaller orbital bodies will get sucked into its orbit and basically just drowned out into its orbit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Shoemaker-Levy was a big comet that basically blew up over the front of Jupiter.
Wow.
Thank you. So every day you wake up, you should thank Jupiter for.
Yeah, thanks Jupiter for kicking the shit out of everything that wants to fucking hurt us.
Exactly. So these ETNOs basically do the same thing, but we're talking like 300 to 400 times farther away from the sun than Earth.
Wow.
So really far away. Okay, and these scientists basically found that that there's something out there. There's something out there that is making a gravitational splash, so to speak, in our solar system, and it's interesting because there are so many people that basically threw away. They called them pseudoscientists or fringe scientists that threw up the idea of Planet 10 or Nibiru or Wormwood or Planet X, whatever you want to call it, some external planet or planetary system that affects our solar system every couple thousand years. And here we are, only 400 years into our astronomical discovery, and we're now finding that there's something out there. Past the Kuiper Belt, way out there, but it's being detected. So it's interesting that these astronomers have basically confirmed they're from the Complutense University of Madrid, Spain. So these people aren't just like people working out of their basements or some magical whereabouts, but they've got some good stuff behind them. But bottom line is that we have a lot of things happening in our solar system that I am very interested in.
Absolutely.
And I think any person with half a brain wants to be interested just as well, because we can only do so much on our planet, sure, but to know about these things is the knowledge is power. You know?
Absolutely. I've been told that since I was a kid.
Right. Well, hopefully we're going to be able to get a little bit more knowledge on these issues, and as soon as more information arises about Planet 9 or Planet X, or who knows, maybe the aliens will come down and they'll be like, we're from Planet 10 or whatever planet you want to call us.
It's already past Independence Day. I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, they have to come every Independence Day. I forgot. Where's Will Smith?
Yeah. we need our savior Will Smith.
Where's Will Smith? Okay, no, but seriously, let's open this discussion. If you guys want to hear more about extrasolar bodies or a planetary phenomenon or coronal mass ejections, not Greg's, of course, but
mine are dirty.
yeah, his aren't appropriate right now, guys. Come on. But at the end of the day, let us know. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, BTC_art_design. Or you can check on my website, www.breakthechainsart.com. I have for sale there a Dia de los Stoner skull, which is a fantastic reiteration of a Dia de los Muertes sugar skull, but it's got a little bit of Colorado flair to it. So check it out and follow me there. Check me out and let us know. Let us know about this planet.